Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our 10th and last webinar series in the power of sourcing. And as the saying goes, save the best for last. If you watched all 10 of them and you're here today, thank you so much for sticking with us and absorbing all of those nuggets of wisdom. If you haven't, you can check out the recordings on our YouTube channel. My name is Adrian Kolf, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Matcher and co-founder of Pantala. But most importantly, I am your host today. Now, what do we do with Matcher? With Matcher, we provide embedded talent solutions to fast-growing companies. So we work for companies like TikTok, Booking, Stripe, Revolut, Picnic, Miro, and Grammarly, and help them scale their engineering and go-to-market teams. Sourcing and recruitment is really at the core of what we do, and therefore we want to give back to our community and share the knowledge that we've accumulated over the years, but especially all the people that we've met and that we've been learning from over these last years since we started Matcher. If you are hiring, or if you know anyone that's hiring, please let us know, because we would love to get in touch with you. And we are hiring ourselves. We are looking for experienced sales recruiters with a specific knowledge of B2B sales in the US. So if you are a senior sales recruiter, or if you know anyone that fits that experience, please let us know, because we would love to get in touch with you. Now, before I announce the first people on stage, because we have two people, if you haven't already, please follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on YouTube, and subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date of everything that's happening in our lives. Now, please welcome on stage Alla Pavlova, and I would love to welcome Matt back as well, the Vice President of Marketing of Offrzen. So, not one, but two people on stage. Hey, Alla. Hey, Matt. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Alla, I will get to you in a couple of minutes. But Matt, Vice President of Offrzen, so happy that you're here. It is because of Offrzen and some of our other partners that this webinar series is actually possible. Offrzen, we've been working together for I think over a year and a half now, and something that I think is truly inspiration for us is not only your branding, but especially how community driven and focused you are, and something that we try to do for our sourcing and recruitment community. You've been doing for a very long time for the developer community, and I really want to give my heads down on what you guys have been able to do. And fun fact, Alla in our side chat asked even for swag of Offrzen, because that's how people value the Offrzen swag. So kudos to you guys, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Matt, I would love to give you the floor to share with our audience a little bit more about what you guys do with Offrzen, and then I welcome Alla back on stage, and then we get going.
Okay. Hi, everyone. From Cape Town, South Africa. My name is Matt Beck, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Offrzen. And I'm going to very quickly run you through just a little intro of who Offrzen is, what we do, and a little bit about how we do it, especially in Europe. So Offrzen is a community-driven software developer job marketplace, and our mission is to connect every developer with the opportunities to build an awesome future. We believe very strongly that software has the power to be the primary global economic driver for a long time. We believe that great developers are everywhere around the world, and we know that sourcing the right developers for the roles that you're looking for is increasingly difficult. So that's why we created the Offrzen Jobs Marketplace, which at a very basic level is a platform where candidates, software developer, job-seeking candidates can sign up, create a profile, and receive interview requests directly from companies. So cutting out the noise for the developers, cutting out the noise in sourcing for the companies, and creating a more seamless sourcing and job application process. But the way we get sustainable engagement from the developer community and trust from the developer community, combined with the sophistication of our candidate acquisition engine, is what makes us unique. And I want to tell you a little bit about that today. Okay, so what do we do? For companies, basically, we provide relevant quality, difficult to find developers who are ready to interview. And I'll show you a little bit more about what the breakdown of those candidates looks like in the last slide. We create a faster, better hiring experience. We only keep candidates live on the platform for a limited number of weeks. So you're only getting people who are ready to interview, who are high intent, and who are responsive. And we provide support both to companies and candidates in making informed hiring decisions. So that comes to appropriate salary related to market benchmarks. It comes to helping companies really enhance their developer brand to the developer community in a way that we know really resonates with them. There's a lot of hands-on support as much as you need to get your hiring and sourcing going. So what do I mean when I say that we are a community business? We are a company for developers founded by two developers. So it's very important to us to remain extremely developer focused. And our business is a community business because our industry is a community industry. And so we reinvest the revenue from our jobs platform back into the community to create an ongoing conversation with developers because they're only looking for jobs every couple of years. And so we can't just hound them with, are you looking, sign up, reactivate now. We have to create an engaging community experience for developers. And we do that through a number of different ways. And I'm just going to run through some of these briefly. We create developer data reports and community content by subject matter experts to help developers understand salary trends, trends in programming languages and frameworks, and even trends in things like remote working and what they're looking for from a manager and that sort of thing that are relevant and helpful to developers, but also to sourcers and to hiring managers. We also provide editorial writing services for developers. So those who are interested in getting their own content out there, we work with them to firm up their writing and get it ready for publication. We've developed hero documentaries in Laravel and Svelte so far. We're working on TypeScript right now and have a lot more in the works. We do a lot of in-person and online events, meetups, sponsorship, really making sure that we're part of the conversation within the developer community and can provide them with the right resources to host their own events and be present in their own communities. And lastly, those of you who know us well know that we're very big into swag. It's t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, everything. And this is our new mascot here. His name is Dinocorn. And yes, that is in fact a dinosaur unicorn strapped to a rocket with a rainbow streaming out of the horn. Welcome to Offrzen. Okay, so what did this look like in 2022 in terms of the numbers? Importantly, from the head of marketing's perspective, we had 13,058 job-seeking developers on the platform in 2022. More broadly, though, we have a network of developers over 100,000 who are subscribed to our newsletter. We just launched the documentaries that I mentioned earlier in 2023, and so far have 400,000 plus YouTube views and a couple thousand subscribers. Is purely organic, no paid promotion there. We get a lot of engagement with our survey responses for our developer reports in Europe and South Africa. We're now producing, we just did in Q1, 64 pieces of content for the blog. So that's guides, data articles, other blog content. We have 20 plus actively writing developers at any given time. And like I said, we're really present in events and really present in terms of our swag. And again, that's important because we need a reason for the devs to come back to us, to stay in a conversation with us so that when it's ready for them to look for their next job, Offrzen is top of mind for them. So just to wrap it up, we really do go to extreme lengths over many years to invest in building and engaging tech communities and really understanding what is important to the devs. And again, that's really important so that we're top of mind for them when they're looking for their next role. So just in the last minute or so that I've got, I thought I would pull back the curtain a little bit. And for those of you who have positions that you're struggling to find right now, who might be interested in using Offrzen, just show you a little bit of what it looks like in terms of the actual numbers. So I joined in November of 2021 with a directive to expand into Europe and figure out how to build a marketplace in Europe. We were very successful in South Africa, and we were having success in Europe and wanted to go much bigger. So just in terms of the percent of total European candidates that we had, this is January 2022 going through today, you can see this teal color is the rest of Europe. blue is Germany, and orange is the Netherlands. So you can see that we made a deliberate decision toward the end of the year to really double down on Germany and the Netherlands, both in terms of Dutch and German companies and Dutch and German candidates, to build a denser marketplace with a higher likelihood of companies finding the exact matches in terms of the candidates that we're looking for. It also means that the quality of the rest of Europe, so that's Portugal, Italy, Spain, and a couple of other countries, is very high because we've raised the bar there in terms of quality, given that we have mostly Dutch and German companies. We also realized that our companies were looking for primarily EU citizens. So through a combination of more kind of precision performance marketing tactics, we were able to increase the density of EU citizen candidates that we have, which now makes up around 70% of those candidates. And I forgot to mention around 80% are now Dutch or German. And then just gave you some stats here on the right side for January, February, and March, looking at teal last year versus blue this year. This is the percentage increase that we're seeing in candidates on the platform who are EU citizens, again, primarily from the Netherlands and Germany. You'll see that it's gone down slightly in the last 2 months. And frankly, it's just because we don't have enough companies on the platform to service the number of candidates that we now have. And then lastly, I just wanted to give you a sense of what the roles are that we have on the platform. The order here is the actual order in a volume of candidates that we have, starting with JS frontend and ending with Scala. So if you're interested, take a screenshot of this. If you'd like to have a conversation about it, you can find my email address here or go to our website and reach out, and we'll be happy to connect.
Matt, thank you so much. I always am amazed by your branding, also how clear your story is and how mission driven you guys are. So phenomenal job, Matt. And honestly, thank you for making this webinar series a possibility.
Thank you.
Awesome. Then over to you, Alla. The 10th, the final one, but we have something to live up to, because to this day, Alla, you are our most viewed YouTube video ever. And you
Yay.
Really blew up. Yes, I know. I think we have over 3,000 views on that particular video. And it came to my attention that you've been awarded as most influential sourcer in the Netherlands. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It is. I still need to celebrate it. So, but yeah, it is. It is true.
And I completely understand why, and therefore we're so honored to have you again back on our webinar series, and that we round everything up, and it really feels like a full circle to have you back on the show again. Alla, I'm not going to take too much of your time, guys. If you want to ask any questions, please ask them in the chat. We'll collect them at the end of the conversation. There's a slight delay, so if you have a burning question, just ask them. Sometimes Alla will answer them, or we'll save them up until the very end. Alla, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So I hope that you had a very good day, so that you can now just relax and get into some interesting information that I'm happy to share with you. My name is Alla Pavlova, and I'm very, very happy to be here at the Machar. So I had the chance to work with this team. They're really, really awesome in terms of sourcing, so definitely. And yeah, I definitely asked for the swag. So for the Offrzen, thank you so much, guys. So happy to be here. And the topic that I chose for this webinar, I decided to call it investigative sourcing, because this is how I feel myself when I do the research for the recruiters and for hiring managers, and I feel like an investigator. So I'm trying to find the information that is hidden, and I'm trying to use as many free tools and as many free techniques that I can find. So that would be the focus of this webinar for today. Please feel free to ask me questions, because I do feel a little bit alone here. So I'd like to see some activities in the chat. At least I know that the people are there, but I also know that it will be recorded, so don't worry. So you can have it later, so whenever the time is good. A few words about me. I'm based in Amsterdam. I love gaming and I work in gaming, so I'm happy happy gamer working in the gaming industry. I'm very lucky because at Riot Games, the data and sourcing and recruitment is taken very, very seriously. So we use a lot of tools, a lot of information. So every decision feels like made data driven. So that's why I think that for me, this topic is very, very important. I'm still hands-on sourcer, so feel free to ask any questions in the chat. And this webinar also, I think, is good for those who just at the beginning of the journey to learn what they can do as a sourcers for recruiters and for hiring managers. It's a few fun facts about some data points about me. So I play the game that my company did from 2012. So can you imagine? So really on a daily basis. So that's huge. I participated or organized and even was hosting some weddings myself. So when I was a student, it was the way for me to make money. So that's I suggest a fun fact because you learn a lot at the weddings. I did interview my future husband 12 years ago, so that's also fun. In 2020, I started to do a lot of online trainings for sourcers because that's was the time when we all stayed at home. So it was, yeah, I just checked the number 333, so that's fun as well. Yeah, I host weekly sourcing parties. They're absolutely free. You can join. So right now we're on a break, but yeah, somewhere in May, end of April, so you can pin me. So it's absolutely free. We just get on the call and talk sourcing. And yeah, I do have a robot dog. Her name is Luna, and yeah, I train her and I can code a little bit so that she can do things that I would like her to do. So this is a few facts, fun facts about me, and we can jump in to the webinar. So the focus that I have for us is on two things. One of them is what sourcer can do with some data and research for the recruiters they work with. And actually, these tips could be used by recruiters as well. That's also absolutely fine. And what we can do for hiring managers by doing some research, you can win them and you can make their life much more easier because they will be more informed. Okay, so let's dive into the sources for the recruiters. So what we can do. This is very usual. That's when the recruiters having their intake meetings with hiring managers that they talk about location, which specific location the candidate is going to be, which specific skills this candidate is going to have, maybe some specifics on the language. Of course, it's like even not discussable, but it's something that we all keep in mind that so we need to make sure that the pipeline should be diverse. And often I feel like it is possible to find and like to focus on some universities, some communities, because the hiring manager knows them and would like us to search them. John has a question. The link to join the free trainings. Yeah, it's not a training, so it's just a community of sourcers that get together every week and we discuss everything. So yeah, sure, I will reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will share the link with you. Thank you for your interest. And so coming back to the questions that recruiters are usually discussed. So they talk about it's like a must-haves and things that they can then get back to you as a sourcer and say, hey, could you please find the candidates that will be in that specific location with this specific skills, etc., etc. It's great if the sourcer can also be at the meeting with the hiring manager, but it's not always the case, unfortunately. And that's the reason probably it's good to record your sessions with the hiring manager if it's possible, if they're also not against it. But if not possible, maybe at least the a sourcer can be maybe like can make like 15-20 minutes with the hiring manager just to go through some must-haves and nice to haves. So when we have this usual outcome from the recruiter about the location, so what we can do. So as a sourcer, we can search very well on the location and advise the recruiter, is it possible? Like, is it like a good search? Is it is this location is doable for us to deliver as much talent as required by hiring manager? I'm going to show you something. So you're at the beginning of your like research. So you have, let's say this is very challenging role, full stack engineer, like with Angular and Java as a skills. So by the way, feel free to share your challenging roles in the chat. I would like to feel some sympathy for people who are really working on the hard roles to fill. And I personally, I really consider the full stack one of the hardest because of the combination of two different fields, like a backend and front end side. So when you get the request from recruiter, okay, so I would like to search in German, in specific location. Okay, so you go to LinkedIn quickly. So it doesn't matter which paid like option you have with LinkedIn. So you can just very quickly go in the search and put the location and see how many people call themselves full stack engineers. If you use let's say the title, so you can check this full stack. Sometimes it makes sense to check full stack Java engineer or full stack Angular engineer, so they call themselves like that. So you can play with the titles, you can play the skills, and yeah, you will see like it's approximately like 3,000 people in Germany who call themselves full stack, and they have these skills. After that, you will you will notice in some of the paid versions of LinkedIn will show you that these people mostly are located in Berlin, so 2,000 out of 3,000. That also gives you the idea that there is like a hub of this specialist, and you will come back to the recruiter or the hiring manager, and you will advise them that, hey, the location that you chose, for example, it's going to be Munich. It looks like it's only in Munich like 100 people, so and they're not definitely meeting all of the requirements. So we probably have to be flexible. When you do this research, it's a bit manual, and it is important to track the way like track your steps. Let's say you started with LinkedIn first. You went through the filters, you get the results. I always advise also just go back also not only to like in LinkedIn itself, but also don't forget to just go and do the X-ray. So X-ray for me is one of the best and easiest ways to keep track on specific roles, and like just to check myself as well for the results. If I'm getting enough actually from just filters, using filters on LinkedIn, so we know that sometimes they're a little bit tricky, but with X-ray, I can really play more, have more flexibility, and I can check everything in different search engines and see the results. So that's don't forget about it. And yeah, X-ray is very, very powerful still in nowadays as well. So coming back to the sorry, so you looked on LinkedIn, so you did the X-ray, so that's great. So you notice that there is a hub for this specific role, and you coming back to your recruiter with this proposal, and you can try to make a case. But having this data is going to make your hiring manager more interested and more like they will believe you more, because you bring the data. You're not just telling them that there is enough not enough talent, so you give the data. When you also do the research in specific locations, my recommendation will be always translate your search to the language of the country you're looking for. Like almost a year and a half when I just started to work with the team in Singapore, so I was really translating a lot of things in Mandarin, and it was really fun. So I get into the communities that I would probably never have a chance to get in. So that's why don't forget to translate your searches in the native language of the country you're looking for. Let's say your company is focusing in general in Europe. Try French, try German, try Dutch, all the languages, and you will see that you will get to the profiles that you will not see just by the search. And this is interesting for me as well, observation that some profiles of people who are not English speaking, so they keep their like public profiles only in one language, in German. And if you just only using English words for a search, you probably will miss them. Just making the point, don't forget to do the translation as well, like the engineer to engineer or whatever it's called in the language. Yeah, that's really game changer. Yeah, Nelly, she is a super sourcer. I I had the chance working with her, and I think that's the moment that she was sourcing for the roles itself, we were sourcing. So she looked up all the candidates as possible. So kudos to you, Nelly. What would be the alternative locations? That's something that you would suggest by looking into like in which cities there are more people like that. For example, you've noticed that Berlin, so that's one. But the people probably would not like to move if you're asking them to move to the location that you're hiring for. And so this way, probably you will have to be even more creative or even more flexible and consider other countries as well because of some lack of specialist in your location. As I've noticed as well, for example, when I was looking for specific like Python software engineers, and I've noticed that like it was quite easy to approach them from one country but not from another one. So that's again, this comes with some trying, but the source that I did for Angular and Java, more specialists like that are located in France and Poland. So I get like a really biggest hubs of this type of specialist. So just to keep in mind as well. So what else we can do as sourcers for recruiters and what we actually doing. So we do a lot of research on the social media, like GitHub as well, Twitter, Slack, and Discord. And this is something that is very, very important for us to get data out of like GitHub, Twitter, Slack, etc. To get the data outside LinkedIn as well. One of the reasons not everyone has a profile on LinkedIn. For example, recently I read the statistics that only like 6 out of 10 software engineers, they would have their profile on LinkedIn. And for example, the like, as I'm targeting China, so a lot of candidates, like I think like 60% of candidates actually deleted their LinkedIn profiles and they don't have it anymore. So this way you have to be a little bit creative in a way. When you do source on these social media platforms, I'm going to show you just a few things how to keep track of things that you're doing, because it's very easy to get distracted. And I think, yeah, Vanessa, so she's sometimes asking these questions like how you can keep yourself focused when you're spread it into so many social medias. And the best is like really track yourself, track your time, and track the platforms that you're going through. So that will be important. So for that, I will have also a list of, I'm just checking where do I have this link. Maybe another slide. So the time tracker links, the extensions that I use as well. So because I was surprised that when I started to track my time, I spent really the majority of my time on GitHub and Twitter, and to get, but I get the most interviews from Discord and Slack. So that was like for me interesting observation, just because of the tracking my time. So what else we can do as well? So there are really amazing reports from Stack Overflow, and this is something that's also important for us to get the information from. How do we know if like some communities appears, or like some of the languages are more popular, not popular, or like the representation of the diverse candidates, or like for example here's the representation by yeah, this is by age, the people who filled in, etc. So there is a very nice and interesting insights that you can get from these reports, and you actually can have, like I think like the last 10 years Stack Overflow survey of the software engineers, and it gives so many interesting insights in terms of like what is the most like the most popular and the most favorite programming language among developers. So it's really interesting, but in different countries they could be different. But like a lot of countries still prefer Python. Python is number one favorite programming language. And then what is the most popular framework, etc. So especially with frameworks, like a lot of us working with front-end engineers roles and with like JavaScript engineers with some specific framework. When your hiring manager, like in your company technical stack is, for example, Angular, but you as a sourcer, if you're part of like a lot of communities and you're reading the news, you're probably aware that Vue.js and React are more popular, and it will be quite hard to convince people with who are working right now on Vue.js, to move to Angular, because probably they actually tried it, they didn't like it, etc. So of course you will have to ask them, but still it is important that you know what is more favorable in the market, what developers like, and then you can use it also like in your reach out. So please definitely take a look. The slides will be available, so the links will be there, so don't worry about that. But it is something that you read and that you get yourself educated. um, uh, uh, that's like this time you will develop so many insights for yourself, like about what are the platforms that developers get educated, what are the awesome the repository that they're using, etc. So this is really 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 important. Another way for you to gather some insights on the role and to inform your recruiter if you think that you together can succeed is to look into the communities, of course, and to try to talk to someone from this community. You can easily have access. For example, I just checked like Angular meetup. So meetups are right now in a different stage, let's say, probably before 2020. So people were regularly going and meeting each other. So right now it's different. So it's more online, but still a lot of people who are members, like for example, here's 2,000 members, and you can easily scrape this list with Instant Data Scraper, the Chrome extension, free. If that's what you want to do. But at the beginning, it's more interesting and probably important just to get to know people who are in this community, who are organizing these events. And I suggest for you to just reach out a few of them and to ask to have a chat, like, hey, you're part of this community. Sometimes, and this is quite normal practice, that the organizers, they survey the participants, and they also get some interesting insight, like which companies they're working, how many of them are looking for a job. And this is one of the success stories that I had as well. I was looking for data scientists, and I opened one of the communities like that, and I opened the event, and there you can comment on things, and I've left my comments like, hey, I'm hiring and based in Amsterdam, this is role that is open, and I've got responses like 3, and we hired 1 person. Basically people are like a part of the community, and some of them, the reason why they are there is because they're looking for a job. So very, very important to get to the insights, to learn a little bit more about the market and the situation, is to become the part of the communities, as well as like you start in the new location, like I did with Singapore. So I started to look for Singapore for the local communities, but of course I struggled to find anything like English speaking, but I managed at the end, and apparently Facebook and WeChat were the most popular. I wouldn't guess it. Like Facebook, I thought, like, I don't know what you guys think, but I thought that Facebook is not used that much by developers anymore. But yeah, I was wrong. The community was there, one of the biggest, and in WeChat as well. What else we can do? So of course we always check for the openings that's with the similar technical stack, so that we can make a list of people and companies that are potentially competitors. And of course, this TechShare is the website that spends quite a lot of time just to check the technical stack of different companies, so that I can try to see if there's like anyone who is interested, who has the interesting stack that I can try to headhunt from, and probably I have noticed that this is the company that I can focus on. So again, it's free, and you just find the company that you're interested in, and check the openings as well. What else I wanted to discuss with you today? So when you do receive a request from a recruiter or the hiring manager as well, like I would like to have like a strong pipeline, and so like I would like to have the candidates in this specific location. And when when we start working with the role, we also, like as a sources, we would like to know the volume, how big is the pool of the candidates. And this is like the third process. So usually I do that in Excel or like Airtable. Love Airtable, so like trying to do everything there. So you tried LinkedIn with the filters, you tried X-ray and LinkedIn for the role that you're looking for. And for example, you got like 400 results with the X-ray, and you spend around like 4 hours on checking these profiles, the 400 profiles. Just briefly, like, like you want to know what is the quality. And you selected 50 people to reach out. Then you get like 5 interviews of this 50 people, and so you made one hire. So it is just the track for yourself, and also just to provide this information to your team members, that it will be very, very valuable, because most of the times as well, we're not looking for one full stack engineer. So usually we're looking for a bunch of them. And it looks like, and it's based on the statistics that I gathered and the experience that I had with this role as well, is that when you looking for one person, so you go through around 400 profiles. I will be very curious to know if anyone also has some data in terms of how many people they find a specific source, like on GitHub or Twitter, and from this search that they did, how many people they like reach out and get the response or even hired. Another example I would like to make is with GitHub. So I love to do GitHub search. It's like one of my favorites, and you can play with so many things in here. So I'm going to show on GitHub. Yeah, so I already have it put here. So for example, I'm looking for the engineers, and in the description, like in their title, I would like to make sure that they have the word engineer. And I have location as Germany, but I can also go specific, and I can choose not only Germany, but the city, like Munich or Berlin, and I will have different results. It really depends if you're really restricted by something. And I do the language like Java, and unfortunately on GitHub itself, it's not possible to look for the framework. But yeah, it is something that you can do by searching for JavaScript, and then checking the profiles, which type of the framework they're looking for. And so once I had this let's say goal, I wanted to go through all the profiles, all the JavaScript profiles that I find on GitHub in location like in Berlin. And when I map which framework they all used, so number one was React. It's like 70% of people I found was React, and the other 30% were like 5% Vue.js, 5% Angular, etc. So with this data, I came back to the hiring manager, and I also suggested to them like, hey, this is the challenge. Like if we are like not interested in approaching React candidates, so then that's what we have. And most likely people will not be interested in what we are offering them right now. So this is again, it's a little bit manual because like you open profiles, you have to investigate which type of the framework they're using. I said the question from Stephanie, what is the best way to source for women data engineers? So a great thing about sourcing for diverse candidates, in this case, you're asking about women, is knowing how their communities are called. For example, this is like what I do a lot on Twitter. So Twitter helps me personally find diversity communities. For example, I didn't know, but when I was looking for Python communities, I came across PyLadies. So I just typed like Python, and then it was the community based on the language, then etc. So it's also came to my knowledge that these communities, they are location based. And so then I get like PyLadies community specific in the Netherlands. So the great thing about data engineers, of course, is that a lot of them are using Python. So this is very, very possible that you will see a lot of like data focused people in this community. So that would be my suggestion. I know that you probably expected to have like a data engineering community of like women, so that could be as well. So but please try to look into it from not only that angle but also from the technologies that they're using and the ways how they're calling themselves. This PyLadies community as well has Slack community that there are a lot of them, and there is also dedicated to the data engineering part, the whole channel, as well as like a Python Slack community also has a dedicated big channel for the data specialist. And if you type there she, her, you will find quite a lot of like female candidates as well. It's just like one suggestion, but I find the suggestion is a little bit more interesting rather than something else. So don't forget to use also the search based on the pronouns. It's still quite effective. I know that some companies are against it. I totally get that. One of the things that's yeah, it just makes it easy if you use the pronouns, or if you go to the communities that are like, yeah, like called like that, like she codes, or yeah, like PyLadies or Rails girls. It's the software engineers that are focused on the Rails. That's good. Nelly responded, usually the relevance is from 20 to 25% in my case. Understands, yeah, for example, from 1K result, I reach out to 200 to 250, the most, and interest rate is from 10 to 25, depending on the location, etc. Interesting about the interest rates, because like there's observation from my side as well. So I'm going to use this slide to share my observations. When I source and approach in specific channels, I get a different type of the response rate and interest as well. And that's why I also, as a sourcer, provide this data. And I'm saying, hey, it's really great to focus on the specific channel and invest in there. For example, on Slack, I have almost 80% response rate by just typing the message, because I'm part of the same community. I never had any negative reply, because I'm absolutely honest. First of all, when you enter Slack community and you would like to hire there, and I know a lot of success stories, and I did myself had a quite successful experience when I worked at Piro. I was hiring at least one person and finding at least one, two, three people for the interview from just sourcing on Slack. First of all, direct messages. So, and you can introduce yourself in the channels. You can also be very like honest who you are. You're a recruiter, you're learning here, and you can offer your help. You can say, hey, I'm here also to contribute. I can help with like CV writing, or anything about the interviews. So whatever people would like to hear from you. So it could be beneficial for everyone. So this way, This is just the channel capacity analysis for myself, to understand like where is the talent. If like hiring manager recruiter would like to know where these people are actually. So the biggest pool of the candidates for Angular I found on Slack. The second biggest was on GitHub, then LinkedIn, etc. So it is interesting that I could definitely say, hey, if we're looking for Angular, so let's go and look into Slack communities. Let's invest money and time, and let me source there so that I can get relevant candidates. Can you share with us the source where we can find different Slack communities for tech people? Of course, yes. So for Slack communities, so it's first of all, the easiest way is always Google, like, right? So and also, I don't know how you guys, but I became very, very lazy. So I ask a lot of things, or I use AI for everything, of course, the ChatGPT and others, and asking even this type of questions about like, hey, what are the Slack communities? What are the this and that? So definitely worth checking everywhere. But let me send you the link for the if I can I send a link in the chat? No, I can't. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add the link to the slides. So there is like the big Airtable with a lot of sourcing communities on Slack communities on one list. Yeah, it's called the full list of Slack communities. Some of them are outdated. I'm not sure who created this list, but there are a lot of them that are still searchable. Some links are expired, but yeah, they're also divided based on the location, and it's absolutely like free, and you can find it as well. Like, yeah, ChatGPT works with everything. When it comes to the Airtable, just just quickly Google it. So if you won't find it, I will include it to the slides. Don't worry about that. Yeah, so basically, as a source as well, the other valuable information that I can provide is about me having analyzing sourcing channels, and knowing, like, for example, if I from GitHub I get that many profiles, how many actually hires I made, and how many people actually come back to me. So the response rate from candidates that are sourced on LinkedIn is low. Like if I reach out on LinkedIn, of course, but if I try to reach out to people using the email addresses or direct messages in Slack or direct messages in Discord, so yeah, this way I would really get the results faster. So, and then I can also manage to tell my recruiters and hiring managers that, hey, let's invest here and there. So that's about the capacity of the channels. Yeah, so that's another thing I would like to do as well. So when we analyzing, so we still need to keep kind of track of things. So yeah, I wanted to show is as well, like, very quickly. With Twitter is the best to find communities very quickly. So I found like, okay, Angular in Cologne, so Angular in Berlin, etc. So maybe I will be lucky and I will find even more diverse communities for Angular language. And the great thing is, again, I have this 164 people. I will be very quick with scraping them based or just the instant that scraper Phantom Buster. I get the list of these people with their bios and etc. So I can very quickly check what they do, how relevant they are. And it's important for me as well is to really track the time that I spent, really track them. Profiles, amount of profiles I found. So it's just a small screenshot of the as well, like a little bit manual type of tracking your activities. So for example, I took 2 hours of my time to source on Twitter. I used like JS Engineer and some I straight Twitter, and I found that many profiles. And it's also like important for me to see, okay, so I spent like 2 hours checking one particular community that is Cologne, and I we like, for example, we made one hire. So that's doable. One hire out of 164 people. It's a great result. And one of the reasons I also like one of the insights that I've got, and I also shared it with the recruiter and the hiring manager, that people who are following specific communities based on the location, like quite a big number of these people, like around 70%, that's the data showed me, 70% of people who follow specific communities are actually the relevant people. So the ones, less recruiters and more people who really go to these events. So could be very valuable. When it comes to GitHub as well, so when I had this search like I did with engineer the description, I wanted to have people from the location in Germany, and I went through a lot of profiles with JavaScript as a programming language, and I had to figure out what type of the framework they're using. At the end, I only reach out to 20 profiles out of this huge amount, and I spent 12 hours. So it was because of the tool that was not that right for the job. So if you go and do the X-ray and you use Angular and Java as a keywords with X-ray, you will get much better result, much faster. So don't forget as well, like to go to do the X-ray on the different platforms that you are sourcing. Yeah, so you can do just X-ray and get the results and see and compare them with what you got. And what I like about X-ray as well, again, it's free, but you also can add specific words, and it's like a speaker or senior or she, her, pronounce this kind of thing. So we'll get you like really good results. But I needed to know exactly how many profiles are existing on the platform like GitHub, and yeah, get through the quality. And my goal was to research which frameworks are the most popular. We will be, like, I think, in a more luxury position if we will get the statistics somehow from GitHub as well. Like, you know, I think some time ago I saw some articles about popular languages on GitHub and this kind of things, but the data that I was missing was the framework preference based on the real numbers. So when I mentioned to you like how many like what was the most popular framework while I was doing this research, like 70% people that I found in specific location were using React. So that was also very valuable, coming back to my recruiters and hiring managers, and yeah, get the things more organized and more data driven. Again, as a sourcer, we're very powerful in terms of, like, you know, targeting things. And like if we decided to target like awesome company A, and we can go through all the people. Like, for example, in this company there were like at least like 14 engineers working using this particular combination of the Angular and Java. It's valuable information for us because first of all, we're not going to reach out to all of them, because then it's going to be like attacking the company. And said but what I will do, I will collect the data for all the type of the companies that we are targeting, all their engineers. I will have a list of all their engineers and a link to their profiles. And yeah, so what I can do with that, so with this list of the 14 engineers, let's say like you took 14, but yeah, like I usually try for some data sets to get a few hundreds of results. And of course, it's taking time. So everything I'm sharing with you, everything I'm telling you is definitely hard work in terms of the timing, and hard work in terms of the figuring out what is useful, what is not. When it comes to the, like, you know, you get the company competitor, you get the employees. So you start looking into their background, like which universities they came from. For example, yeah, I know in the Netherlands, like a lot of people say, hey, if the candidate is from Delft University, like his or her tech education is probably really great. So it's possible that in some locations, some universities are also more preferable, or like given like a specific nice tech education. I will look into where the engineers came from. Like most of these companies, the interesting observation. Some of the companies really only relocated the specialists. If your company targeted specific talents, specific companies, but is not willing to provide visa, that will be very valuable information that you will tell your recruiter or the hiring manager that you've noticed and you researched that the company's competitors moved the talents from other companies. This is how they get them. So this is important. Like you first, for example, you can say that in general, in these companies, people with the same technical stack, they only have 2 or 3 years of experience. And that amount, like let's say 50% or 60% of them were moved from another company and they need visa. So just think how valuable this information is and how it could change the perspective, the way how you're also gonna probably change your strategy in terms of the sourcing. That's why I think the sources is one of the most powerful and interesting job in the world. Again, you can also look what type of certifications, if they have any. So that could be also some sourcing hints for you. What are the job titles they're using? Because it also could be right in the company. So engineer like 3, engineer 1. So could be different, but still people could have a relevant stack. So you always gather like, yeah, how you would like to get into someone's find the relevant profiles by using someone's job titles. And of course, like what part of the developers groups they are or who they follow, etc. So this all information is usually very easy. It could be taken from LinkedIn itself. Yeah, if you like, yeah, if you would like to go deeper, so you can add GitHub and also look into things that are similar between these people, the engineers that you found. But at the end, what you're going to have the really good research. For example, you targeted the country like Germany, you chose Berlin, and you check all the like communities of Angular and Java developers communities. You check all the competitors companies, you made the list of all the employees, you found the similarities and the different things that could be valuable for your recruiter. And when you come back to them, you're giving them a lot of insights, and then you can brainstorm and decide what you're going to do about these roles. Very quickly, so what are the things that you also like should always keep in mind? Like the hiring managers, they make their decisions based on the needs of the business, and they're not always knowing like, okay, so which skills probably are acceptable, easy to find, or which skills are more popular. As it was something that I mentioned. Yeah, it is like easy to tell them, hey, I feel like React is more popular, but it's more valuable when you bring this data to them and say, hey, this is actually like in Berlin, we have only that amount of this and this specialist, and bring the alternative, bring them the way like, hey, but there is another location, there are other things that could be done and could be used. There is a website that probably you all know that yeah, also can give a little bit of information about the compensation, of course Glassdoor as well. We should be able in a good way to provide our hiring managers with compensation information from the company competitors, also to put them to inform them and to help them to see how else we can make these roles more attractive. For me, finding compensation is one of the hardest things. It's not public information in most of the countries, and the rates are not shared, the salaries are not shared. So I'm not sure if you guys also share the struggle, but yeah, for me, it's quite challenging. And yeah, so we can give them the idea about the pool and how the competitive the market is. So this is the example of the search that I do provide to hiring managers. So for example, I targeted like Germany, full stack, this super challenging role. And I mentioned that, hey, the query that I did, so I looked for this keywords, this technologies were in the title. And if I add the column list like preferred location, so I get only 60 profiles, and then I can I show them the distribution between like where this talent is like and most of the people in this and that companies, and then I give the list of all these people, and the list of the things that are similar, things that are different, the insights as well. So usually the hiring managers are the most interested in the the amount of profiles and the insights, like there's this framework that is more popular. These are the companies that have the biggest amount of this specialist that we need, etc. So it is a conversation that we love to have together with hiring managers. As a sources, because like we do that. I use LinkedIn Insights. The only reason why I'm not mentioning, because the other speakers also mentioned, and LinkedIn Insights is a paid tool, so I do use it because my company pays for it and it gives the insights. One thing I struggle with LinkedIn Insight is you can't be that creative on the titles, and quite a lot of roles that I'm looking for, not like very generic. So, but yeah, the LinkedIn Insights could give you really good information in terms of like talent location, and so that's definitely so. I do use it, but it's, if you don't have a paid version of LinkedIn Insights, use X-Ray. It's also super helpful, and you do have to do the research, but I trust my research more because like opening the all these profiles and seeing which frameworks and reading reports will be very, very handy. So one thing to last mention, and not to forget, like challenge yourself. This is the recruiter that I'm really missing, because we've worked together a lot, but not now, unfortunately. Enrique Hallenberg, so he's my partner in sourcing, let's say. So he challenged me a lot when we worked together the team, and that's, for example, he wanted to have all the producers, like we work in gaming together, like let's say, like for you, I don't know, like project managers who worked in the first person shooter games, the one that have game credits, and all of them should be based in European Union. I like it's a complex task, because like he wanted to have to make sure that all existing producers with game credits, who work in specific type of genre of the games, like a first person shooter, and that I will get the list for him. So this is amazing. This is very challenging and interesting how he or like another recruiter can approach you in terms of like they want to know, for example, all the people who worked like on the specific product type or on the specific game. So this is important to have a complete search, and this is the way how my sourcing thought went. So how do I get the list of the games first? Wikipedia, actually, it has the whole list. Or I went to the ArtStation. This is the websites where the a lot of artists are. So I get the list from there, like I scraped it, and I get the list of all the games. And then I went to specific websites like Moby Games or Medal and YouTube as well, and get all the game, like AAA game credits for the all the games that this first person shooter games are. Then I really scrape them, cross-referencing, etc. So it looks easier actually if I show you. So this is like the list of the games, all the games, the first person shooter scraped from Wikipedia. So all here. Then I went to the list, I scraped them for like these games, specifically focused one by one on the Moby games, and get all these people who ever had credits for them. And my head off to Balazs, because I use it still, I love it. So this is the Excel. It's called To Look Up by Balazs. It just has the formulas. Like I put all people here that I sourced from the games list, and it's cross-referenced for me automatically. So if I click on the link, so this will be my name there. So you see, so yeah, I don't need to cross-reference all of them like one by one. So I click bulk openings. I open all the LinkedIn's. I looked, I decided what I'm going to do next, etc., etc. So it's a lot of things that you can do together. Just don't forget to challenge each other. I think we're out of time. 3 minutes later. Sorry.
Alla, so many nuggets of wisdom. So good, Alla. Save the
Thank
best for
you.
last. Awesome. Alla, I think we almost answered
Yeah, I see just a
almost
few questions. Yeah.
all the questions.
Yeah, Victoria, she's asking,
Yeah.
could you please advise streamers and players? So I love sourcing on Twitch. So really recommend, especially for streamers, so you can see them at work, and TikTok as well. But Victoria, so Twitch is I found it's you can even X-ray it, and it's more organized and like in a better way. What I've noticed with TikTok, so I get so distracted. I started to search for things and like looking for videos, dancing, etc. So it's horrible. So you have to use the time trackers. The link will be in the slides to just to double check how much time you spend there. So just be careful. But Twitch is really great. Yeah, and
Yeah.
YouTube, of course. Yeah. So that will be two. I used Miter Mictir, I don't know, Chrome extension for the transfer to get the data to be compared. It's interesting, and this is what I love about having live audience. So Joanna, thank you. I don't know anything about this Chrome extension, but I'm definitely going to check out and like see if I can use it in my search. Thank you for that.
And did you share the source to find different Slack communities for tech people?
Nelly found it. Nelly
Yeah.
definitely found it. The only thing, I can't send the links in the chat for some reason. So
Can you send it
Yeah.
to us, because then we
Yes.
can either post it in the chat, or we'll send it in the email with all the recordings.
Absolutely, yes. So I think throwing some links to the recordings, that's what I will be doing, because I have a few that I want to share. Definitely. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
super thankful for everything. Yeah.
Alla, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's it. It's a wrap. The 10th and final webinar of The Power of Sourcing is effect. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to watch, for engaging with us, for listening to our speakers. Thank you once more for Offrzen for making this webinar series a possibility. And I would love to see you very, very soon. Do not forget to follow us on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and stay up to date by subscribing to our newsletter. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.